I think Trav's going to join too. So,
What's
All
up,
right.
everyone? It's showtime. We got Mike and Josh here from GGMS. I've been excited about this one for a while. And we obviously myself, Brian from the SISU side, streaming live here on Facebook. And Josh, Mike, why don't you guys say hello to everyone?
What's up, guys? Josh Jankowski, co-owner of GGMS Coaching here. Super excited to be involved with this webinar and to share clients with the guys from SISU. I look forward to talking to you about how that all works together here.
yeah, definitely. Mike Gallagher, GGMS Coaching. Been talking back and forth with Zach and Brian for a while now, and super excited to finally have the opportunity to get on with them and really just talk through the product, talk through what we do and what they do, and just how we're a good pair and we work together. Yeah.
No, it's and there's probably a good mix of SISU clients on here, and I know there's a good mix of GGMS clients as well, but just kind of wanting to learn how the two work together. And little interesting background there. What was this? Maybe like 3 months ago, Mike, I started running into a lot of our SISU clients, really high powered clients, and actually talking with like Ryan over at Sierra Interactive too. And people, I kept hearing GGMS and people saying, do you integrate with GGMS? I started digging into it and figuring out what you guys do. And I said, oh, this is really cool. This is something that we can build off of right away, right? We can integrate with GGMS right now. And I don't even know, I've never talked to anyone over there, but we started building some automations and started pulling some data into SISU. And maybe you guys saw some of that on your end where your clients were like, hey, we're piping all this data into SISU. You're like, oh, okay, what's SISU, right?
So maybe for those who don't know, and for those of you who don't know me as well, and Zach, but we're with SISU. I'm the founder and CEO of SISU. Zach heads up our sales team. And for those of us who don't know GGMS, like, tell us a little bit more about what you guys do, because I think the value that you guys have really done from my perspective is that you've focused on really bringing CRMs to the next level. But maybe you could go a little bit deeper on that and share with those who are on this live stream and just aren't familiar with you, kind of what you guys do.
Yeah, definitely. So essentially, so we're GGMS Coaching, and I know that some people get the coaching word gets a little funky, right, in some circles. But essentially what makes us coaching is we use these things that we call accountability filters. So basically your dashboard is built with these accountability filters. They tell you exactly what to do that day, who to call, who to apply plans to, who needs a search set up. Just basically it directs your whole day right there on your dashboard. And then we just build all that magic out behind it, what plans they're going to get. We define the different stages, and we really just put like core standard operating procedures behind your CRM. So we use this spreadsheet analogy all the time, which is if you've ever used Excel or numbers or any of these things, they're super powerful tools. But you have to build out the formulas. Just like you guys have these awesome dashboards. There's a lot of work in the back end to display those numbers. Where are you going to pull them? The data tables. There's so much calculation being done in order to have that front view that you're showing on the dashboard there. And so we do the same thing, but we do it within the CRM. So we take that blank slate, which is any CRM all-in-one provider that you go to, gives you all of these tools, but they don't really give you a system to use. They give you a system, but it's not built. So what we do is we just build that logic out and make it easy for the agents to get directly into action instead of in that, constant paralysis by analysis kind of phase where they're just confused on what to do. Who do I follow up with? When do I follow up with them? We just do that kind of structure. Josh, do you want to throw anything?
Just to say that he summed it up fantastically, but to make it a little bit simpler, basically what we try to do is we try to bridge the gap from the technology that you have available, whether it's provided from your CRM or if it's these other outside tech companies, things like BombBomb or Video Ask or Zapier or whatever it might be, the things that we deem valuable enough to use. We bridge the gap between what you want it to do and or from what you have available and what you want it to do, which is to get you these deals. The gap in between getting this technology, like when you sign up with a Sierra or even Excel or whatever it is, it's pretty great between trying to get it to do what you want it to do, because it doesn't come preloaded with all the things you want it to do in most cases. And in some cases it does come preloaded with that, but the quality of that preloaded stuff is usually not at the high enough level to get you to where you need to go.
Yep.
So are you guys agnostic to technology? Are you agnostic to, can that be any CRM? I know you guys really have a large group of customers that are with Sierra, but do you guys go outside of Sierra? And it sounds like, you know, it doesn't matter if they have Excel or BombBomb or any other application out there. Is that right?
Yeah, so at this moment, Sierra is the only one that we have a true product offering in. We do some side consulting and some of the other CRMs and helping people out with that. And we're definitely, you know, exploring the different ones and making sure, you know, that whatever we do and whatever the next move is, that it's the right move, and that it makes sense. And it doesn't make sense just from a dollar standpoint, but it makes sense from helping the clients actually achieve their goal, because that's what we really have. I mean, it's about the success that we can generate for them. That's what helps us generate our success, you know?
Yeah. Okay, great. So when you say you have an offering with Sierra, I mean, tell us a little bit more about that. What is that like?
Yeah, so essentially, the current state of GGMS, we have two different products. We essentially have a messaging product and a media product. And the messaging product, that one is the one that works within Sierra Interactive, right? So, you know, we don't have any sort of, you know, one-on-one agreement with them. We're not locked into anything with them, but we currently work inside of there. So we have the ability to kind of share our system directly into your system so that you can use it. So that product, we've got that at $299 right now. The other product is the media side. And the media side's open to any IDX style website that's out there. So we currently have Boomtown clients, Sync clients, Chime. We've got them from, you know, all the different major ones that you have out there. And on that side, what we do is we help generate super hyper local leads. So what we're doing is we're doing market analysis. We have a data tool that we use that basically goes through all the stats in your area, really identifies things like absorption rate, turnover rate, days on market, what the average commission in that area is, all of those kind of factors. We help build out a super hyper local Google pay-per-click campaign, so we can drive high quality, high intent leads back to your website. And the other side of that, on that media side, is we use Facebook to go back. We re-engage things like sphere of influence, closed clients, different, you know, registered leads, those kind of things, with content. So we teach a content strategy to the GGMS media clients to help them put out super highly engaging content on their pages. And then we help turn that content around and push it to the audiences that need it most.
So you're almost like and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me like you're almost like a CRM extension. It's just adding more value to the CRM so that they can be more efficient, more effective, and get more leads from their CRM. Is that correct?
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Zach, anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, no, so I was just going to say, you know, you have these great systems, you have CRM, you have SISU, and GGMS kind of sitting in the middle, making them work or putting more accountability behind them, putting more process behind them. So what does that look like between, what is it that makes GGMS and SISU a good fit? What makes them work well together?
I'll take that one. Essentially what it is, that the main thing, or one of the main things that we saw value in immediately with you guys, because you latched on with our clients before we even knew about it, really. And so we kind of heard about you guys through ads that we had seen for you. And then we also started hearing it from our clients. But one of the byproducts of what it is that we do, like, we make sure that people are talking to everybody in their database, closed clients, sphere of influence, new leads, old leads, whatever. The agents really need to track what's going on. And in order for them to visualize it, because, like, you know, most agents aren't really into the whole nurture process. They want to go show homes, cash checks, maybe deal with new leads because it's exciting. But they don't really visualize, and it's hard to visualize if we take away the actual manual labor of each of those steps. We need for them to somehow be able to visualize it, and your dashboards do a perfect job. so that they know that there's progress going on, so that they don't give up hope on what's happening, right? Some teams are closing deals every day, but we all know in real estate, there's a lot of you out there that you're like dying to get to that next check, and you need to be able to visualize and watch this progress. Another thing that I really like, and not all of our people that use your system utilize this, but creating those contests and the way that you guys go about doing that to get people to do certain things is exactly like what I do. So we have a daily Q&A session where I try to either like rah and pump people up, like, let's go, we're celebrating wins, and we got rubber chickens, we're whatever it is to try to motivate people. But sometimes having that board or the notifications that come along with it is the thing that'll push you over the edge to even get off your couch and do what you were going to do today anyway, right? It's easy enough because some people have become, your sole proprietors, your business owners in your own mind. You think you're your own boss and you can sit around and do whatever you want. These competitions help to push that over the edge and really, I think, get everybody involved in more of like a team-like type setting. I always kind of talk about, I guess.
Yeah, those leaderboards are like, that was one of the things that I was super pumped about as I started to dig into SISU, was the ability to like keep morale up, the ability to, weight different point systems and really have ways to it not always be a conversation between maybe like a team leader and let's say the agents underneath them, where it's like accountability, you didn't hit your numbers, blah, 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 but kind of make it more fun, more engaging, and kind of gamify that work that we have to do every day to get to the goal. The other awesome part about it is transaction management. Like, you guys are crushing it on that side. And I think if I'm not mistaken, it's like 1 million up. Is that right? 1 million uploaded transactions that you guys have had through the system?
Yeah, that's right.
At this point. Yeah, it's amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. And it's just really cool to see where you guys have gone with that. And it's really neat to see how our clients are succeeding by being able to use what we're doing in conjunction with what you guys provide in order to do what Josh just mentioned, which is see those results, actually see the chains being moved every single day, every single week, to help with exactly what he was saying, is not get discouraged and not get put down because one day didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to be.
Yeah, I think on that point with the accountability, like, our focus is positive accountability. It's, if I'm a team leader, I want to find out, what does this person want? And this person may want 1 or 2 transactions a month, and this person over here may want 5 or 10 transactions a month, right? So whatever it is, find out what that is, and then find out what it's going to take to get them there. But I want to come back to GGMS, because GGMS working together with SISU, you guys are like this really powerful add-on on top of a CRM that's going to get more productivity. And then we're kind of that next level of, like you said, Mike, of we're going to visualize it, we're going to gamify it for you, and we're going to help take that transaction to close. So when it leaves your CRM, it's going to come into SISU, and you're going to take the transaction from the CRM, which is usually first appointment or it gets marked hot, to now closing and commission management, getting them paid on the transaction. So I love the flow of how we can do that together, but I want to jump back in and find out more about, like, what are some of the things that you guys can do to take that from the CRM, empower people, maybe share some specific examples, and then how that would work together with SISU.
Yeah, so basically one of the core elements of what we do is defining lead statuses so that everyone on the team, all of the different agents, are speaking the same language, right? So what we do is we define those stages or statuses so that everybody is on the same page. And if a client of ours listens to what we're teaching, if we say the word active or prime or qualify to them, they know exactly what that means. They know exactly where that lead is in the sales process, regardless of whose database it's in, because we've identified and set those metrics up. The next key part is really boils down to these workflows that we do. So we have these flow charts that essentially are, yes or no logic that tell you exactly what to do, what plan to put on the lead, what status to move them to, and more importantly, what to tag them with. Because that's where a lot of the power between what we bring and what you guys offer is. We push. How many tags are we up to, Josh? So we have like 300,
It's about 300 tags. I want to add something real quick on the gamification because I missed that. I don't even know why I didn't think about that. So in the background, as we were developing our system, we found out like the code that we needed to crack is how do you make this exciting and how do you get people to engage with their entire databases? So what we did is we kind of gamified the follow-up process using these accountability filters. The accountability filters basically are filters search your database. They look for people with certain characteristics that need a thing, and then they give you the ability to give them that plan or to give them a call or do some lead maintenance. So the dashboards that you guys provide and the gamification of the contest and things like that kind of are what's needed to make this exciting, right? Because internet or like database follow-up, I mean, for most people, not that exciting, right? So that's what we do. And the other thing as pertains to like what you guys do is we get everybody, like Mike was saying, about like getting the people into the right statuses first, so we know that we're delivering the proper message to the proper people. And then when we track them as they go through from status to status, each of them has real definitions that are not based off hunches like, oh, this lead was on my site 200 times this week, they got to be ready to go. No, they're probably sitting on their mom's couch just burning up your ad spend and wasting your time in many cases, right? So it's the structure that we give to these agents, the ability to come into a CRM, not have to guess about what it is that they're trying to do, and literally not think about anything and just do what it tells you to do. So when you sit down, you know your workflow is X, Y, Z. You go through it, kind of gamify it, get it done. You might even be trying to, like, I know I personally used to time my follow-up sessions, how many people I followed up with in a certain amount of minutes and all that stuff. And so it just makes it a lot
that's
more.
Another thing. My wife, so my wife's been in real estate for a little while now, and she kind of took over the real estate business side as we moved deeper and deeper into helping agents succeed. And what she does, so she does CrossFit, right? So that's her thing. She gets up every morning at like, seems like 3:30 in the morning to go to CrossFit. It's like, it's crazy. But what she does now is, all she knows is the system that we've designed. She didn't come into real estate and have a business before, working with what we do. So for her, it was like a clean slate. We taught her exactly what we do, and she just crushes it. And she does this thing that it's kind of a CrossFit thing. It's called an AMRAP, which is as many rounds as possible. And she does this thing where she uses the accountability filters that we have, and she'll just go through and she like just tries to benchmark and see how many dials can I make in an hour, and then what that number is. And then she always tries to break that number. So she's taken even the gamification that we've applied to the system and taken it even a step further to make it fun, make it exciting, and get through that work.
And real quick on that note,
CrossFit lead gen, basically. So
it is. I told her, I'm like, we've got to like turn this into a real thing and do like weekly, like, you know what I mean? I don't know what we would call it, but where we can take these kind of terms and turn it into things that are relatable to what we're doing inside of the CRM.
And by combining that with SISU, what we can do is we can let her know, this is your personal record. This is the best week you've ever had, right?
Yep. Exactly.
So welcome. I see Travis on the show with us. I thought I'd welcome you in, Travis.
Hit him with the trap cam.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? I'm Travis Lockett, and I've got a VoIP number ringing on my browser right now. So
get it.
1 second. There we go. It's done. I can't talk when there's a phone ringing in my ear. Just that anxiety of a real estate agent. So what's up, everybody? I'm Travis Lockett. I'm the Director of Operations at GGMS Media, and my main tasks are researching the most proven frameworks when it comes to online lead generation and remarketing, and then implementing those frameworks on behalf of our clients. So I love what you all are doing at SISU. In fact, right before I made the full step into working at GGMS Media, I was still in real estate and looking for a better solution for tracking my activities and, more importantly, my commission earned based on lead source prior to making the full switch. So I actually signed up with SISU and got to go through the product. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of things from my perspective. As an agent who literally tracked his numbers from the day he got licensed to exiting production, right? Like I use a competitor product like to Sisu that like really doesn't come close to what you guys are doing. Really, to me, there's no other alternative that's as seamless in the industry compared to what you guys are doing. So kudos to you. But with that point, like I would track how many contacts I made every single day in real estate. Like I had a business plan every single year in real estate because I had great mentors and coaches. On our associate leadership council meeting, like the board meeting for our office, right, with KW, we would always look at production issues with agents, but no one tracked their numbers. Like what you measure improves. If you don't measure it, you can't improve it. You don't know what the issue is. And 99% of the time, it's either lack of leads or lack of activity. And Sisu brings that all together. So the whole reason I got into the media side was obviously Mike and Josh are geniuses, and I love to work with talented people. And they have the biggest raving fan base of any real estate product offering that I could see, like within the ecosphere of anyone in the real estate industry right now. But two is just their values, right? Like our mission overall is to improve the ROI for our clients who are real estate agents, and then the consumer is going to have a better experience. And Sisu is the final piece. This is how you track the main metrics of your business. This is how I can analyze your business. Like it's surprising that like 99% of agents that you talk to out of the millions of realtors there are who are licensed with NAR don't have P&Ls. Like they have no idea. They have no idea where their business comes from. So if someone puts a post in Lab Coat Agents and they say, like it's my favorite, hey guys, what's the conversion rate for a pay-per-click lead? What's the conversion rate for a Facebook lead ad lead? Like, okay, well, wait. Are we talking home valuation leads? Are we talking city-based search campaigns? Are we talking local real estate service ads on Google where it has your headshot on there? Like, what are we talking
And also, are we talking my conversion rate or yours?
That's it. And people will chime in on the Facebook groups, like and say like Lab Code Agents or lead gen scripts and objections. They'll say 1%. Like from a business perspective, if you're in like say a market where it's $800,000 and you get 2% commission, that's $16,000 gross revenue. And even if your lead costs you $10, $15, let's say $10, and you close 1%, like everyone says, well, that means it costs you $1,000 to get a $16,000 commission. Like it's just not accurate. So we're bridging the gap of actually seeing what frameworks for advertising are effective for being scalable new lead generation sources that can get you past clients who refer you business. And you can look through your accounts. I'm sure the highest ROI source of business is going to be Sphere of Influence for any of your agents who are tracking your numbers. But we're helping actually showing what that data looks like. We can't do that without a company like Sisu. So like we need agents to know those numbers. So like that's big key number one. And I love this stuff, by the way.
Yeah, and that's what's exciting is actually when we have clients that use our media service alongside with the coaching product, alongside with Sisu, that allows us to do is actually track that lead from the time they hit the CRM to the time they hit the transaction management part of Sisu. So we can actually have, we can tell you what those conversion rates are over time, and we can make adjustments. We can reallocate ad spend. And the way that we push everything on Google, we push a ton of tag data into the CRM. So we know what campaign it came from. We know whether it was in market, out of market. We know all of those sort of things. And that data is super important to get into the CRM, and even more important to be able to show on a dashboard like this, where you can really understand where the best source of business is and what parts of your business you should scale or work on.
Yeah. What's actually driving profit for your business, right? And all of our big clients, like who spend $5,000, $10,000 a month on media spend or 10,000 plus, they typically have vendors who co-market with them because they're sending them a lot of business or they're working leads together. Sisu clearly articulates who, if you use, the system properly, right, who the inspectors are that you're referring business to. who the lenders are that you're referring business to, title companies. And you can see that clearly at the end of the year. So if you're having a conversation with your lender or an inspector about co-marketing or co-sponsoring an event, that data is right there. It's black and white. And I just love it. People just have to use the system effectively. Oh, and you have an application that gives you a push notification every single day at 5 o'clock about putting your numbers in. I know because like I haven't been putting my numbers in because I'm helping people advertise now, but it's just really seamless.
Yeah.
And
it makes it easy. It really does. And being able to set up all those different, from the leaderboards to even setting like what your projected like forecast is or what numbers you want to hit, and just really being able to use technology to hold yourself accountable. Because for a lot of us, we're business owners, right? We're for real estate agents, we're, we may be on a team, but at the team level, you're going to be the one buying the SISU product, right? The team leader, the broker. And at that level, it's important to know what these things are, because this is what is, like Travis said, these are the financials that drive your business. And if you don't know your numbers, do you truly have a business, right? Or do you just have a hobby?
And I think where this comes in so tight, you guys really help people decide where they should spend their money, where they're effectively getting the best ads, and our reporting helps with that. And then to go to the next level within our platform, team owners can really decide, okay, now that I've spent this money on, just call it SEO or Google pay-per-click or whatever, okay, which agents within my 20 agents are the ones converting on those the highest? Because those are the 5 agents I want to give those leads to, right? I mean, agents convert differently on different types of leads. Why not instead of just having a Shark Tank where everybody fights for leads, why not give the agents that convert highest on that lead type those leads, right? If you really want to maximize.
Yeah, that's a super awesome point, because if you have somebody who like crushes it on open houses or circle prospecting or whatever that source is, then when you find what they're talented at, you can empower them and encourage them, and they can have tremendous growth on that side. And like you said, Brian, I mean, somebody may crush it on pay-per-click or Zillow leads, some sort of online lead generation. And it's like, let's put people in a position where they're set up to succeed. Versus, if it's not your personality type, or that lead source just really isn't what you're good at working. Yes, there's things we can do to help improve that, whether it's scripts or what are you doing, how are you approaching those contacts. But like you said, Brian, just really dialing that in and scaling up agents, and not boxing ourselves in to a thing where, you have to work this lead source no matter what, but really being open to everyone and everyone's talents, and just letting those who succeed at things just double and tripling down on them.
Yeah, I'll share an example of this, one that I'm really close to. My wife runs a real estate team and brokerage, and she found that her Zillow cost was up to $3,800 per closing, which at that point, it's like, okay, most people would just cut it, right? That's not what she did. Instead, she looked at, okay, which agents are converting the best on this? And some of her agents, their cost per closing was $400 or even $250. And so she shifted, and only certain agents now qualify for those leads. And also she was able to negotiate a higher split for the team on those leads because of the cost. And so that cost is now down below $2,000 per closing, just by making the right decision.
And she never would have known what that decision was without that data, without being able to isolate who the performers are with that lead source, and just being able to do what you said, which is shift and really just allocate more of those resources towards the right people.
And then I think a key point here is as well, I mean, you guys as owners of businesses, do you want this data at your fingertips every day, real time? Or do you want to have an ops person who prepares some spreadsheets for you and you look at this once a month? If you're looking at this every day, your business is going to be far more efficient than if you're making decisions once a month on this kind of stuff.
You need that stuff all day, every day. And I'll even go one step further with your wife's situation with Zillow leads, because we have people that generate leads from Zillow and multiple other sources, obviously. Identifying right away, like a person who switches from not using our platform, not using what the service that we provide, and then they all of a sudden have an actual follow-up system that's smart enough to understand, did I just talk to that Zillow lead on a direct connection? Or did I not? And should I apply this action plan? And the action plan does the heavy lifting or the touch count raising that's needed to get these people to answer the phone, right? A lot of times they're protected with their phone time, and we got to do whatever we can to get them on the phone, because the name of the game is get them on the phone with you, right? No matter how cool the action plans are running in the background, it's all really designed to optimize your time spent on the phone, so that overall cost per closing for a Zillow lead can go from $3,800 down to the $400 and $500s that you were talking about for some of those team members. And I think that's how we work together in presenting the information the way you guys do, because nobody's waiting for that end of the week meeting, because a lot of times you go to that meeting, whether it's not right now virtual or in the office, presenting the positive stuff is very important, because you can play off of their strengths, identifying their weaknesses without insulting them and giving them a way to improve them, all the way to the point where you say, you know what, you're not too good with realtor.com leads anymore. We're just going to leave you out of there. We've accepted the fact that you're better over here. Use your time over here where you make more money.
Yeah. And the reality is, the person who's great at Zillow leads, they know how to just take the call, get in front of a person, not try to get them pre-qualified, not try to do all the stuff that you're trying to do with a lot of other types of leads. So they're really different people, right? So it's really important to understand your agents and to understand where their strengths are. If you have an agent that has had a lot of listings and they're really good with sign calls, why not get them the sign calls?
Yeah.
So,
And the other thing is, having that data allows you to make those tough decisions, like, what part of the business is succeeding, what part's failing. And I think sometimes agents are hesitant to get started because they're worried about what that's going to look like. It's intimidating to go from maybe not tracking your numbers to all of a sudden tracking them, and then you freak out because you're like, whoa,
you're getting called out.
Yeah.
And you don't have a choice. It's on a board.
It definitely can be intimidating at first. However, if positioned correctly, it's really a win-win, because what happens is you go as a leader from trying to force your agents to do something to basically assisting them in helping their goals. And your weekly one-on-ones go from being an emotional wreck talking about somebody's private life to talking about the numbers that are right in front of us on this board every day. It's a completely different conversation. It's completely different style of leadership. It's a completely different culture for your business. Now you add gamification onto that, and all of a sudden you're having sales contests where even brand new agents are able to get in and compete, because you're giving different value of points for conversations as you are to under contracts. And now all of a sudden you've got this culture of just accountability, and I call it a culture of fun, because that's what I see. The people who really do that, they're just having fun, and their businesses are exploding right now.
Exactly.
Brian, I got to throw something out. Half the battle here with all of this is just getting salespeople to use the CRM the way it's supposed to be used. And all these things we're talking about, because if you put the reasons and you make a convincing case to say, if you add this tag, this automation is going to happen, this lead's going to progress, and you're going to climb a spot on the leaderboard, and all you got to do is just add this tag. Now it's very convincing and valuable for an agent to go in and be like, oh my gosh, I have this awesome system. I just got to use it the way it's designed, add a tag, there's accountability on it, and there's automation that happens for me. It's no brainer, right? So
it's a great point, Zach. I mean, a lot of people in this industry have a hard time getting their agents to use the CRM, and that's the base. And really, SISU is really an add-on extension of the CRM. And we're partnering with every CRM in the industry because we add value to that CRM and added stickiness to the CRM. And it's
I'm in sales too. I'm not going to add a tag if it doesn't do anything, right? Just because somebody wants to see some report somewhere that I'm never going to see. right? You're always going to be working uphill if that's how it is. But when everything's visible and transparent and automated, man.
There's another thing that has to do with those tags that is very valuable in our system. We tell everybody, because we get people to transfer over. Currently, our system's only available inside Sierra, so you have to come to Sierra. The scariest thing for anybody is to transfer CRMs, right? You can move from EXP to Keller Williams if you want to, but changing your business machine is a big deal. And so because of that, what I tell people is go and tag the information that you know to be valuable, namely at first, which is to tag them with the proper statuses we want those leads to go to based off their characteristics. Closed clients go to close, sphere goes to archive, et cetera. But the main thing about these tags, guys, is they are almost every CRM has tags. And you can search for these very important notes. So for instance, if you want to find everybody in your CRM, regardless of a leaderboard and the contest and all that stuff, if you want to pull everybody who's been sent to lending, you can tag them with sent to lending. And the people who do not have a pre-approved, those are people you need to reach out to find out what happened. Can I make the connection or not? These are things that are going to improve your overall income every single year. But making agents understand that right away is a little bit harder to do. That's what I was talking about. The process, as you gain taggable data points over time, that's how you gauge your progress. And that's why I love how your system works, because it preaches on tags like we preach on tags. But you're right, with the agents a lot of times, and what I try to tell people right away when they come in is like, look, you're paying us to provide you with this service to make you better at what you're doing. It's not to say you weren't good at the old school way that you were doing it. Just go all in on what we're saying, do the things that we're telling you, and it will get you the results that you're trying to get.
And I can even show like there's, let me pull my screen back up here. You guys seeing that?
Yep.
There's an appointment set tag in Sierra and with a lot of GGMS clients, right? So you add that appointment set tag. I'm sure it does something on your side. I'm not really sure, but I know that on our side, it pulls that lead in. This is a dashboard, SISU dashboard. This agent has a goal of 4 appointments set each month. And when I add that tag, it's giving me credit for having set an appointment. And then I can come in and click that and see who that appointment was actually with and what lead source is it coming from. I could start to forecast the value of that appointment, like what price point are they looking to buy in, right? If I have an ISA team, I could track who was the ISA that set this appointment. I mean, there's so much data that could come just from adding this one tag. Other thing is we start to track some of the lead. This is new, something we just started doing. For an agent, I could look at their lead sources and say, okay, you got X amount of leads from this lead source. Here's how many appointments you set with that lead source, met, signed, under contract, closed. Like I could track from lead generated all the way to closing using a report like this. And it's all just from that one little tag.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? Now for users, like for GGMS users that are not currently on board with SISU, what does that process look like from SISU's standpoint on getting them up and getting them integrated and getting things rolling? Like how quickly can we get a client up and running? And does it backdate any of the data that we've been working with current clients who may not be on the SISU platform yet? What does it do? How does all of that look for them?
Yeah, so we don't do a lot of backdating, but the setup for the go forward, tracking this on the go forward, yep. And that's piece of cake. You can actually go on the SISU chat box and say, hey, I'm with GGMS. I just signed up with SISU. Can you get me set up? Send us your Sierra login. We go in and pump it. Just send it all. You don't even have to touch it. All you got to do is drop a message, say I'm with GGMS. So that's
we are going to import a few years of data for the snapshot pages that we have.
To start out. Yep, exactly. And the cool part is, we've got a major website refresh we're pushing out along with a ton of content, which is definitely going to skyrocket some of the numbers that you guys are seeing in SISU accounts that are using GGMS. We have a whole sell side that we're pushing. Just a lot of content is about to be released within probably Josh, the next 30 days or less as we make that push. Yeah. And what we're really excited about is once we get that done and we get past that hump, we're going to work on building out a specific GGMS CSU portal within our training area that's really going to help the clients succeed and use the two services at the highest level possible with the CRM so that they know, best practices for what we encourage them to track. Obviously, it's a giant playground at SISU, and they can build out whatever they want. But here's some of the best practices of what we encourage you to go set up, and then even aiding them with any of that and making sure that they succeed on both platforms.
So one thing I wanted to add to that too, guys, is that if you are a GGMS client and you're watching this right now and you have not reached out to SISU, and if you're a SISU and GGMS client and you've not reached out to SISU and told them, give them permission, we have a master board that we can look at, that we can watch your progress or lack thereof from a distance, and then we can give you special assistance. So make sure you tell them that you're a GGMS client, and then give them the authority to connect your dashboard with our dashboard so we can help you do what it is that you need to do to get the gains that you're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're a GGMS client, you're not using SISU yet, reach out to SISU anyway, because you're probably going to want to get this. And I believe there's a discount that you guys get as a GGMS client. You get a 15% discount, I believe.
Yeah, Zach, I was just going to ask, can you share any promotions for anybody that comes on from this webinar?
Yeah, of course. There is a coupon code. I'm gonna double check this, but I believe if you're a brand new SISU client, you're looking to start a trial, you probably want to do a demo with one of our sales reps. But you can go to, I'll just put this up. Right there. So sisu.co/trial, that's where you can set up a trial, or you could set up a demo account. You could set up a call with one of our sales reps. If you use that coupon code, you can get a 15% lifetime discount on your subscription. So definitely something to, if you haven't looked at this yet, you haven't done a free trial with SISU yet, you're going to want to reach out.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're a GGMS user currently, just reach out to us and we'll help, answer any questions on our side as well, and let you know, what we know about the product, as well as, the sales team over there can help guide you through that process.
Yep. Love it.
Trav, you ready for that phone to start ringing in your API on your browser again?
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I just wanted to give with one last note, just from someone who, I live locally in my market, right? There's always caveats to businesses. There's always as I've talked to clients all over the country and Canada as well, about that conversion rate thing. It's always interesting to hear what people think they do or think they don't do. Some guy in Vancouver Island in British Columbia, I think is where it is, right? He told me that they close pay-per-click leads at 4.7%. And I'm like, well, damn, dude, that's it. That's all of your business. Excuse my language, but that's ridiculous. It doesn't matter if your cost per lead is $10. Again, when I got started, I read a book that compiled P&Ls from thousands of real estate businesses. And just from coming from a financial background, I'm like, wow, this looks like a really interesting opportunity as a small business owner, right? The model used to be 20 years ago, 2.4 million in GCI, 700,000 in operating expenses, $700,000 in cost of goods sold, 1 million net profit before, you get your taxes. If you want to move to Florida, you don't have to pay state income taxes, just so everyone knows. Everyone's moving down to Florida right now. It's hard to find a home. But the point was that was a really simple model for me. I had a great coach who showed me Travis, if you want to sell 50 homes per year and we're pessimistic about your ability to go get listings and you're going to prospect and you're going to talk to your sphere of influence and do these things, you need to talk to about 28 people per day working 240 days a year. You get to go on a 3 weeks solid a vacation with your family, and you get to net about $300,000. I'm like, well, wow, man, I'm sold. Let's do it. What I found was philosophically, that sounded great, but there was no clear path of how to execute that. What technology to use? There's no GGMS. I had eEdge. If anyone's used eEdge, you can't do 50 units like that with eEdge. You don't have to have a CRM to do your business. Don't get me wrong, but to track it all together, that was not the product. There's no one to guide me of what technology to use. There's no way to track my numbers. They said, show me your numbers every week, Travis. I'm like, okay. I had a spreadsheet. I made 4 different versions of a spreadsheet. I came onto another company that still never really met the mark. And then as I was exiting out of real estate production, I found out about SISU. I'm like, oh, this is what I was waiting for way back in 2016. And sure, some people can think of scarcity, oh, I'm not spending X money to have this reporting software to know these numbers. I know my numbers. If you're thinking like that, you don't know your numbers, because if you have this stack, like you have like a Sierra CRM, right? Or potentially another CRM in the future, right? As we explore other opportunities, a high converting website, you work your sphere of influence, and then you generate new leads that can become your sphere of influence. You have a system of what to do. The automated messaging for the GGMS side helps you make those contacts that I was struggling to make just through the phone. I'm in South Florida. You can make 100 phone calls. You talk to 7 people. And then if you have to have an auto dialer, they tell you that you're going to get fined $15,000. I had 2 little girls. I couldn't get fined $15,000. I made the phone calls either way. But the point is, like, there's no like, hey, here's what you do. That's what our long-term goal is to bring it all together. And we have to know how much money our agents are making per lead source, right? And aggregate that data and have economies of scale. And I would really be happy if all of the media clients I work with use SISU, because then our calls are easier. I can see if like, hey guys, since we've started doing our sphere of influence marketing and our content distribution on Facebook and Instagram, you've gotten X more referrals year over year. It's easy for me to track that metric. If I don't have that data, I can't do it. It's just based on your gut feeling. And your gut feelings are typically inaccurate. So it just brings it together. You have to know your numbers. And again, like that's, you guys were joking, like, should I sell SISU? But the fact is,
that was not a joke. You should. No.
You have to know your numbers. Real estate's a simple business. Typically, the biggest problem is lack of activities or leads. So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for having us on here, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I think it's been great. We're getting a little close on time. There were a few questions, so unless you guys want to throw anything else out, I can burn through a couple of these questions, make sure we get some answers. There was some talk early on about getting even more data out of Sierra into SISU. So there's a lot of companies working on that. One of them is RealSync. So there were some updates in the Sierra API that I'm just learning about this, but apparently some updates in the Sierra API that are very shortly going to allow us to pull more data from Sierra into SISU. So
they did. They just, I think they
are.
almost doubled their API docs
awesome.
in the past couple months. So there's a lot more functionality. They increased. I don't know if you guys tap into webhooks at all, or if you guys are just strictly using API data, but they now have webhooks available. There's definitely some cool things that they've made available for companies like yourself to be able to tap into. So I would definitely take another look at that.
Yep. And we're in the process of that. I'm going to fire off an email here, but thanks for the insight, Mary. That's definitely appreciated. And, you know, as far as the SISU side goes, our API, I mean, you pretty much do anything in our platform through our API that you could do through the interface anyways. So if anybody at any time was like, hey, I want to try and make this happen, usually it's less complicated than you think and definitely doable through our API. So a couple other questions we're getting. Tracking expenses. So we are definitely able to track expenses, both expenses tied to lead source and just general like operating expenses. And if those are pulled in automatically, yes, a lot of people, we actually have some help-based articles that are linked here about pulling in data from QuickBooks into SISU, which can really, you know, help automate a lot of your reporting.
Are there any other systems that you guys work with other than QuickBooks for pulling in that kind of financial data, or what does that look like?
QuickBooks and anything that can come through Zapier.
Okay.
So
cool.
That and I know a lot of people who are doing like just a VA service that pulls a lot of their data in, and if you're using some random system like not QuickBooks, it could be very doable, or just from like a credit card statement, right?
The one thing I want to point out, we're not trying to become your accounting system by any means. So, you know, whatever you're using for your accounting system, keep using it. What we want to do is we want to visualize and show you with your expenses. So the main thing you want to pull in from there are your expenses, because we already know your revenue. We have your GCI in the platform. So if we can get your expenses in here, we can let you know what your net income is based on those expenses and everything else going on in the platform. So
exactly.
Totally. Another question, we're talking integrations, right? SkySlope. So SISU has a built-in, the ability to push from SISU into SkySlope. And that's really useful with a lot of like our EXP or our Compass clients or a lot of brokerages that use SkySlope, where you got to get your data out of SISU into SkySlope so that you can get paid, right? There is a way to pull data from SkySlope into SISU. We partner with RealSync to do that. Worked with a lot of teams, a lot of brokerages that have done that pretty successfully. So if for some reason you want that data more coming from SkySlope into SISU, that's doable. Usually it's the other way around, because like I was showing earlier when I was sharing my screen, we have a transaction, and it's not really a transaction. It's a very early pipeline stage transaction, but in our system, it's still a transaction from the moment you set an appointment with that lead, and sometimes even earlier. So we're capturing data much earlier on the process than you would typically have something in like a SkySlope or a dot loop. And then it makes more sense usually to push it into that system, but we can pull SkySlope, we can pull dot loop. We do that with RealSync. So I would just,
we're also
capturing one of our reps. They can talk through that with you.
Yeah, we're also capturing way more data.
That's right.
So typically people, I mean, there's been a lot of people that have said, I want to pull from SkySlope to SISU, and then 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, they're like, I really want to switch that around and go from SISU to SkySlope. So yeah. So anyway, you can work with our team, and we can drill in on what's going to be the best application there for you.
People asking about pricing. So go to sisu.co/pricing, or this link, sisu.co/checkout. You can run a couple different pricing scenarios. We have a few discounts. Make sure you put in the GGMS discount. Pricing starts at $100 a month, $15 per user, and there's some bulk discounts as you scale. So, and Barry, sorry, I should have mentioned this a little earlier, but yes, pulling data, if you want to get it out of those systems earlier into ours, a lot of times that's possible. I would just say hop on with one of our reps. They can really walk through what that data flow process is going to look like, help you map it out, see if it's going to work, right? If it can't be done today, it could easily be done through our API typically. So,
Barry, one thing I want to point out on that is our mission has always been to 100% eliminate duplicate data entry in the real estate industry. So it can come from your CRM directly into SISU. SISU actually does everything from contract to close other than e-signature. So, that's an easy way to handle that. But if you still want us to push it into some of those other transaction management platforms, we're happy to do that as well.
Perfect.
Good stuff. That's all I got, guys. It's been a blast. I love having you guys on here. So we'll have to do it again soon. But wrap this thing up, and everyone have a good day. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, love working with you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll be in touch soon.
Brian,
guys, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Watching. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and check
Josh,
out soon.
Get one more rubber duck.
I was gonna say that. I was thinking it, Zach.
Get excited, guys. Go do your smiling, dialing, getting deals done.
I hear that rubber duck in my dreams. Like as soon as Josh gets to the office, it's the first.
The next office over, so it's like
I can throw this at the wall over here, and it's hitting the back of his wall.
Well, the rubber duck or Mike.
We try to have a good time. Real quick before we go, we try to have a good time here. And to the point earlier, like we literally love what we do. We're not as focused. Like obviously, scaling and expanding and growing our business is great, but the way that we got here is literally 100% off of providing a good service to the people who've trusted us to do it, and we love doing what we do. So
it's the grit, Brian.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Everyone needs grit. If you don't have grit, you're in trouble, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, look, why it's so easy to work with you, because we're enabling agents to grow their businesses, right? Our tech and software development or content or messaging development is all based on agents, right? It's not aggregating data away from them. It's helping you keep that data. That's why, like with our advertising accounts, we build them in your own Google account, your own Facebook account. You see the entire ad structure that we run. Like it's not rocket science, but we run it in your account and we do it for you. You could do it on your own, but all of that data is there and it's yours. And I think that just all stems from Mike being a licensed real estate agent, as well as me and Josh having firsthand experience in the mortgage industry. And we've just taken that over, right? And see, like Brian, your wife runs a real estate team as well. Like, so it's connecting with the actual issues that you're running into as agents. So that's always what our goal is at the end of the day, is to help agents' business.
Love it, guys. All right, we'll wrap this one up and hopefully chat again soon.
Thanks,
guys.
See you guys.
See you. Bye-bye.